This is astrologer Dickie Jo Mullen coming to you with some thoughts about what's happening now astrologically. I'm so pleased to be a guest today with the educational presentation offered by the I Am. And long ago, I did teach an astrology class through the I Am, and so many of my students, as is so often the case, have become good friends. And so it's very nice to be back with you for kind of a reunion. Reunion is a very good word to begin our presentation with because there are so many retrograde planets. And the prefix RE, remember, redo, reconnect, revisit, retrograde, all of that idea of repetition and cycles, looking to see what can be finished, what can be refurbished, will be a really good key in coping with the new season ahead. I've prepared a horoscope called an ingress chart for the first moment of summer. Each season of the year, there's a way of doing a chart for the moment the season shifts, and that will show what to expect until the next season begins. So, summer began on June 20th, 2020 at 5:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and the horoscope for that moment shows what will be happening until the autumn begins at the end of September. Let's do a little overview of what can be expected. The ingress chart begins when the sun enters a cardinal sign. The sign of Cancer begins the summer, Libra the autumn, and the winter begins with Capricorn, and the first day of spring, to complete the cycle, begins when the sun enters 0 Aries. The 0 Cancer sun on this June 20th of 2020 is exactly 150 degrees from Saturn, which is at 0 Aquarius, 41 minutes retrograde. So it's mutually applying, and it's moving into an exact quincunx. This is an aspect of fate. I'm a great believer of free will within limits, and supposedly we all have brains to think and can make good choices with what the world tosses at us and our circumstances in life, or work to change those. But there are some things that are inevitable, that are pre-programmed, and the situation with the coronavirus, global warming, social trends, and so forth. That's my kitty cat Templeton offering some comments there. If you can hear a friendly meow in the background. He's an Aries, and they always like to be at the center of activity. Anyway, continuing, the sun quincunx Saturn, 150 degrees, is the need to recognize fate, how we're all a part of our generation of changes, and making the best of that, but yet adapting. And that hand of fate aspect, sometimes it's called the fickle finger of fate, the hand of God or eye of God influence, is really dominating the summer solstice chart. Mercury, the planet of communication, thought, is one of the retrograde planets. It's probably the most well-known one. Along with the full moon, more people seem to know after the basic zodiac signs about retrograde Mercury. It's not bad, but it's a good time to verify appointments, to revisit the old hometown rather than to travel anywhere new. Good time to pick up abandoned projects or studies and give them another look. The Mercury retrograde in Cancer favors travel by water. There's an interest in history, ancestry, genealogy, good memories, good memory recall, but there can be mental blocks to a subject if we're emotionally turned off by it. So the mind and emotion connection is very important for learning and understanding during this time period. Mercury represents schools, And young people from about the age of 7 to 14, the most important years for scholarship, are affected by Mercury in Cancer. Cancer relates to the home, so the whole idea of homeschooling very much is indicated and prominent in this chart. The moon is very important always. It's the celestial body closest to us, and it represents mass consciousness, it represents personalities, women and very small children, mother figures overall. And the moon is in Gemini in this chart, and it's conjunct the north node, which is a strong point, a point in space. The Gemini influence here is dual. It indicates a desire for understanding, variety, and multitasking. Venus is also in Gemini, and Venus is making a rare retrograde. Watch your manners, everybody, when Venus is retrograde. People, without intending to, can be a little bit abrupt or worse. Venus retrograde is not good for changing one's marital status. If you're involved with someone, don't break up right now. Give it a little time. And unless you've been starting to break up for a long time, then it's okay to go ahead. That's been going on. Go slowly with a new commitment or new relationship. There could be second thoughts. Past life connections in regard to love can be significant because each of the planets in the heavens has an exoteric as well as an esoteric application. The Venus in Gemini, Gemini relates to words, is very good for calligraphy and writing, beautiful writing and poetry. And also, conversations can revolve around love, very intellectual quality connected to love. Venus is the special ruler of young people from ages 14 to 21. And so in that age bracket, the Venus and Gemini retrograde influences can have a lot to do with socializing and with choices about the path in life. Mars is the planet of energy, vitality, get up and go. It represents the military, the police department. Mars is in Pisces right now, and it's conjoining Neptune in Pisces. This is suggestive of subterfuge, nebulousness. It emphasizes the Navy and the Coast Guard, roles that they might have in national security. And also, the Pisces influence is weakening for the planet Mars. And of course, there's a lot of talk about doing away completely with the police department and putting something called community control into force, into effect. And there may be at least a revamping of demilitarization of the police department during the season ahead with Mars in the summer section. The Neptune influence also relates to churches, spirituality, and a lot of focus on faith, church-based groups, and what they can do to help people. There is a very strong Capricorn influence with a Mars-Pluto conjunction. Both those planets are retrograde. So we have Pluto, Jupiter, and I meant to say, well, I was retrograde there. I meant to say Jupiter. Mars isn't going retrograde till later in the year. Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, and Venus are retrograde now, and other planets will be turning retrograde as the summer goes along. The two Capricorn planets relate strongly to the economy. Things are not stable, bad or good, regarding the economy. And a connection to the earth is a good idea. It wouldn't be a bad idea to look at good real estate investments for some, if you're able to do that, or to plant a garden and grow and prepare a lot of your own food. Also connecting with crystals. The magic and comfort of crystal healing can do a great deal for us. Uranus in Taurus joins the other two Earth sign planets, Pluto and Jupiter, to create a strong desire for stability, but Uranus is unstable in Taurus. Taurus, the bull, wants to hold on, have a foundation. Uranus is disruptive. And that influence shows that value systems are changing. The old rules about business and financial planning are not the same anymore. And so recognizing that, dealing with that in the best way possible, being flexible, is good. Uranus in Taurus is making a sextile, a 60-degree angle to Mercury in Cancer, with a small orb, an orb of 5 degrees, but it's applying mutually because Mercury's retrograde. Those of you who remember my astrology class a while back will know that that strengthens the aspect. It's very good for technology. Uranus rules computer magic. And the Mercury influence there can show more and more people using computer technology and more different options coming up. It's absolutely amazing what's going on, and that trend will continue. We have Chiron, the little planet that was just discovered in 1977. It's located way out in space between Saturn and Uranus. It's named for the teacher of Achilles, the wise centaur. It's interesting the way the astronomy community is inspired by mythology to correctly name the new celestial bodies, which were predicted and described in mythologies long ago, perhaps as a way the ancients were trying to describe the heavens for us. At any rate, Chiron represents learning, teaching, and has a bearing on healing, troubleshooting, and problem solving. Chiron in Aries right now suggests something new and different. It is representative of all of the demonstrations and mass aggression going on right now, and a desire just for everything to be very new and very different. Looking at the overall view of this chart, Jupiter in Capricorn shows a desire for faith-based beliefs that are practical and genuine, that help with real-life problems, and also, as I mentioned, churches having a role, and other spiritual groups, medicine wheels and so forth, in helping people overall to cope with everything. Saturn in Aquarius is indicating new ideas about health and health research. Saturn, among other things, does relate strongly to health. I'd like to talk about the triple eclipse pattern in effect this spring and summer. Now we're talking about the summer ingress, what's happening now, but the rule of 3 applies here. Things come in threes, if you've ever heard that, because it's very unusual for there to be 3 eclipses in a row. Eclipses are always at either a new or a full moon, and they usually come in groups of 2, sometimes singly, but rarely there will be 3, and eclipses are like firecrackers. They're very intense alignments involving the sun, moon, and earth. The first one was back on June 5th, one on June 21st, and then the third one will be on July 5th of 2020, profoundly affecting the horoscope of the United States of America. The strong retrograde influence in the cosmos right now is all about recollections and rememberings. The third time is the charm. A journey has a beginning, an ending, and a destination. A traditional family begins with 3, man, woman, and a child. Maiden, mother, crone in the magical ages of Wicca, past, present, future, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost in esoteric Christianity. In the Nordic tradition, we have the 3 Norns, Skald, Urd, and Verdanthe. So 3 is a number of the celestial on so many levels. 3 suggests the sides of the pyramid, too, probably the most powerful and stable of all the different shapes. Weather, power, structures, and more can be affected by the strong eclipse pattern. Check your own horoscope for natal placements within 3 degrees of an eclipse, because even though 2 of the eclipses are passing as we're having the presentation today, they have a ripple effect at least through the end of the year and maybe into early 2021. Astrologers debate as to how long the influence of an eclipse pattern really lasts. And sometimes people will just say 30 days or 3 months, sometimes 2 years. I say a year for the most part. Think of dropping a stone into a large bucket of water and the ripples going out. There's the initial splash, but then there's the after effect. And that's how an eclipse affects your life. Look at 15 degrees Sagittarius, 0 degrees Cancer, and 13 degrees Capricorn in your own birth chart, which house that would be, and also any planets within 3 degrees or so, because they'll be very much shaken up and the natal potential will be fulfilled. Again, this is all just energy. Don't think of it as bad, but the status quo is just not the same anymore. Think of being at the beach. You know how the lifeguards tell everyone if you get caught in an undertow, just relax, float, go along with the flow. If the sharks don't get you, that's just a joke, not a good one, you'll end up down the beach in a different place. But if you swim against the tide, the undertow, down you go. That's what's going on now. You have to go with the flow. Those who do the best will be the most adaptable ones right now. The first eclipse back on June the 5th at 15 Sagittarius was at the full moon, a lunar eclipse. Keywords were education, travel, animals, and games. It aspected Mars and Pisces, showing an impatient and impulsive mood, and anger that can be directed in a positive way. And the Sabian symbol, Sabians are picture symbols that go with each degree of the zodiac. They're really good for meditation to understand the nuances in a chart. For the first eclipse, it was seagulls watching a ship, vigilance and opportunity. The next eclipse, which correlated magically with June 21st, the longest of days, first day of summer, summer solstice at 0 Cancer, 21, the eclipse fell, planned to honor and celebrate the solstice for a spiritual awakening. And we can still do that in the next few days following this. It was a new moon or solar eclipse. Patriotism, family, loyalty, real estate, the generation gap are accented, and the Sabian symbol is an unfurled flag displayed upon a vessel. And this suggests adaptability and preparation and announcing and revealing who we are. The third eclipse is coming up on July 5th at 13 degrees Cancer. It's a full moon lunar eclipse, 13 degrees Capricorn on the Capricorn Cancer accent. It is at 13 Capricorn. It's a full moon lunar eclipse. The full moon is always right across the zodiac from the new moon. A lot of people get that mixed up. Maybe that's why my tongue tripped just there, or maybe it was retrograde Mercury. This eclipse on July 5th, as I mentioned, profoundly affects the horoscope of our beloved country. Bless America in a full moon ceremony. An ancient carving in granite is the Sabian symbol. This suggests foundations, looking to history, study the past to reveal the future. And this eclipse so profoundly affects Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn that the economy and business trends will be important. New trends with money and businesses. New types of businesses can open, others might close in the wake of this eclipse. I was looking at the chart overall, and looking to see how in this central Florida area, the planet Uranus is in the 6th house of health, and it is squaring Saturn, which rules the health. Saturn is in Aquarius. And I thought that we might enjoy looking at some of the colors and crystals that can be used to enhance health. With all of my lovely friends at the I Am, I've always noticed a draw toward healing and alternative health, and astrology can be very helpful there. The science of the stars has an omni quality. The heavens above are omnipresent. They watch over and reflect every aspect of daily life. The healing potential inherent in colors and gems is one of the most ancient as well as the most pleasant ways to direct celestial messages. Almost all of us have found a special stone to carry for good luck or have a whole collection of crystals. A favorite color can make you feel better. Use this guideline to select crystals and colors suggested by your birth chart or what is ever the problem at hand, because each of the zodiac signs falls somewhere in your birth chart. Let's begin with Aries. Health problems involving headaches or eye strain, or your birth sign being Aries would be here. Your colors would be red, bold abstract prints, hot blue, and hot pink. Gemstones would be tiger's eye agate, good for winning a battle, the lodestone for strength, clear crystals and diamonds for truth, the future, energy, and glory, the fire agate for progress. Moving ahead to Taurus, any problems with the ears or the throat or the voice would relate to Taurus, or neck problems. The colors would be green, powder blue, cream, and dusty rose. Gemstones, the emerald for true spiritual love, the moss agate and tree agate to connect with forests and gardens, Connemara marble, stone of Ireland, for a comfortable environment, and chrysocolla for Mother Earth. I often think that the Earth especially ties to Taurus, although the actual ruler is always said to be Venus. Gemini. Gemini relates to the arms and hands and upper part of the back. So aches and pains, health situations there, natal placements in Gemini that you want to activate, light yellow, pale peach, also stripes, dots, mixed, and iridescent hues. The gems would be citrine for mental clarity, alexandrite to function on a high level, various agates, adaptability, versatility, and the rhodochrosite, also known as the rainbow bridge stone, to transmute the higher forces from the lower. Also, that's a stone of different transitions. The sign of Cancer would relate strongly to the stomach, and hereditary illnesses of any type has a bearing on the emotions. Colors would be sea green, marine blue, this is a water sign, dove gray, also ivory and bronze. Your crystals are ruby to banish grief and draw friends, the pearl for emotional expression, and the moonstone for intuition and lunar attunement. Leo would be the heart and the back. Every Leo I know always has back problems. And the colors would be sunshine hues such as orange, yellow, coral, bright yellow, red, gold. And the gemstones include peridot or peridot. I've heard it both ways. I think it's dot. It's a beautiful grass green stone for contentment with your lot in life. And then also it is representative of the amber, which cools anger, and the sunstone, which has an effect on health and success. For Virgo, the lower digestive tract and also stress-related illnesses, and things, workplace related illnesses. If your job is making you sick, I hear that a lot as a counseling astrologer, that people are allergic to their coworkers and their jobs. And the Virgo influences there that would help you would be mauve, navy, leaf green, lime green, beige, medium gray. Your gems would be sapphires for white magic, protective love, the carnelian agate, which is a really good health stone, apatite, A-P-A-T-I-T-E, which clears confusion. I didn't want you to think of appetite as in eating, because they're pronounced the same way. And then one of the best stones for anything Virgo related health-wise is fluorite, which relieves stress. The sign of Libra would relate to the kidneys, the lower back, and colors would be bright blue, rose pink, and lavender. Your crystals are rose quartz to draw love, beauty, and good manners. Jade, riches and longevity. Jade comes in many colors, and it's good for almost everything. If you don't quite know which stone to take, you really can't go wrong with jade, especially the green or imperial jade. Labradorite, which balances the kidneys. Oh, and you're going to laugh at its other meaning, connecting to extraterrestrials. If you want to connect with aliens, Labradorite. And also, it's funny, I just forgot, the Moldavite, falls from outer space. That's a stone that I can't ever wear. It disappears whenever I get one. That happens to you. Just realize that stone wasn't from you, for you. Don't mourn it. And try not to get, if you continue to keep losing the same type of stone, select a different one that you would like. Moldavite isn't quite related to Libra, but as I was looking at Labradorite and its tie to the extraterrestrial, I felt, oh, I think I might mention that. It's all part of the whole. Tourmaline. Tourmaline comes in many colors. Watermelon, which is pink and green, green tourmaline, black tourmaline. All of it protects you from negative people. Scorpio would be the health of the reproductive system, and the colors are teal blue, brick red, black brown, and midnight blue. Your crystals for Scorpio-related situations would be the topaz for rapport with animals and inspiration, the opal for psychic ability and guidance. By the way, only people born in October and November under Libra or Scorpio should wear opals at all. They really do tend to be unlucky for others. If you love opals, watch how your life is going. Monitor it. There's always an exception to every rule. And if you have an opal you love, give it a chance. If things aren't going well, just wear it very occasionally. Crystal healing is subtle. It's not like taking a radical medication that might affect one immediately. Instead, it's subtle over time. So the influences of the stones will be gradual. Petrified wood goes with Scorpio. That's good for past life recall. That can be a beautiful gemstone, polished and cut. The bloodstone, which guards health overall. And the blue obsidian, with inner and hidden power. This stone comes from inside of a volcano. Also the other volcanic stones, such as Helenite, this is from the St. Helens volcano, a beautiful green stone, and then also Apache tears, which come from volcanic glass, which we represent turning tears of sorrow to tears of joy. All those stones go with Scorpio. Sagittarius. Sagittarius would be the liver and blood pressure or blood sugar levels. The colors are royal blue, burgundy, and deep purple. And your gemstones would be turquoise. This is the popular Native American talisman for wealth and love. And the zircon for honor, the jasper, which guards freedom and independence, and the malachite for education and adventure. Capricorn. Capricorn relates to the skin, bones, along with Aries it would co-rule the teeth and also the knees. So health situations there you could treat with the following colors and gems: maroon, darkest brown, charcoal, forest green, and indigo blue. The gems are garnet, which would be friendship and virtue. There's a very Victorian energy. The stones are programmed with what they are associated with, and the garnet was very popular during the Victorian era. And also onyx, which is good for grounding. Snowflake obsidian to avoid disaster. Jet for luck and long life. It's protective. Jet, a beautiful black stone, also was popular during the Victorian era and is programmed with those values. Kunzite for practical wisdom and grounding. Aquarius, the circulatory system, sensitivity to extremes of heat and cold, and also the ankles. Colors are electric blue, purple, day glow colors, silver, and stark white. Your gems are amethyst for spirituality, freedom from addictions. Amethyst will help with that battle. Lapis lazuli for healing and higher purposes. Edgar Cayce's writings represent everyone wearing lapis as close to their skin as being a very good way to use crystal healing. Clear quartz for the future and untapping your hidden potentials. And here is the moldavite, hidden wisdom from aliens from above. We'll go with the sign of Aquarius. Finally, we have Pisces, and this is the feet, but also bad dreams or mental or emotional unbalanced energy, but especially the feet. Colors are palest pastel shades of pink, green, blue, and lavender, and then red-violet. Your gems are aquamarine for safe passage and inspiration. The Larimar, which means light of the sea. It has a connection with Atlantis and ocean mysticism. It's found in the Caribbean. It's a beautiful Caribbean blue. Celestite to call in the angels, and coral to promote love, as well as smoky quartz, which is a protective influence. Well, we have just about finished our time together. I'm Dickie Jo Mullen, astrologer from Orlando, Florida, longtime friend of the I Am people. This article is posted on my website, Sky Maiden Musings, for free, if you'd like to access it for some notes or other information. And many blessings and good wishes for a bright and beautiful summer. We have to make it a good summer of 2020.